Set in the city of Boston, the story opens with a former honest police officer named Spencer. 5 years earlier, he was sent to prison after brutally beating his own superior. Today, his sentence is finally over, and he is about to walk free. But before he can leave, one inmate who has always hated him gathers others to give Spencer a so-called farewell beating. They make a serious mistake. Spencer fights back with raw aggression, taking them all down without mercy.
Sounds like an old lady's name.
Yeah, we have a little going away message for you.
For me? Who sent the message?
Outside the prison gates, Spencer is greeted by his longtime friend Henry, a fellow police veteran. Soon after, his former girlfriend also shows up, hoping to welcome him back. Spencer is not ready for that moment yet, so he urges Henry to leave immediately. Henry takes him to an empty apartment that belongs to his father, giving Spencer a place to stay for a while. Spencer is free, but trouble is already waiting for him. This is Spencer Confidential. Not long after, they are visited by Driscoll, another police officer who is still active on the force and offers help if Spencer ever needs anything. Spencer assumes he will be living alone, but Henry surprises him by bringing in another former inmate named Hawk. Henry explains that Hawk's late father was his close friend back in high school. Knowing Hawk has no one and has just been released from prison as well, Henry feels responsible for looking after him. The story then shifts to Boylan, the police captain Spencer attacked 5 years ago. While driving home one night, Boylan receives an urgent call from a colleague asking him to come to a bus terminal immediately. Suddenly, a van slams into his car, completely wrecking it. The crash is a trap, carefully set up by that colleague and a group of criminals. For reasons still unclear, one of the attackers steps forward and brutally kills Boylan on the spot.
I didn't give anything! I swear to God, I didn't give anything!
The next morning, the same colleague, a police officer named Terry, is found dead by his wife inside his heavily damaged van. Soon after, the deaths of Captain Boylan and Terry shake the entire city of Boston. Investigators conclude that Terry killed Boylan and then took his own life. Watching the news, Spencer cannot believe the official explanation. From what he knows, Terry was a good cop and would never do something like that. Terry's wife, Tia, feels the same frustration and suspects the authorities are ignoring something important. Driven by doubt, Spencer visits Tia and asks whether Terry ever had problems with Boylan. She explains that the two were actually very close and had even been spending time drinking together recently. The more Spencer hears, the stranger everything feels. He warns Tia to stay alert, then heads to a bar where police officers usually gather. At the bar, Spencer meets one of Terry's close friends and asks what had been happening between Terry and Boylan lately. The friend reveals that Terry once confided his suspicions that Boylan was a dirty cop and felt compelled to investigate him further. Not long after, another police officer shows up. His name is Macklin, a former academy classmate who has now been promoted to sergeant, taking over Terry's position. Seeing someone like Spencer hanging around his territory makes Macklin and the other officers uncomfortable, and it quickly turns into a physical confrontation. After being outnumbered, beaten, and thrown out of the bar, Spencer notices a security camera from a shop across the street. He decides to check it. When the shop owner refuses to cooperate, Spencer takes the CCTV hard drive by force and plans to ask Hawk for help reviewing it.
I need this hard drive. Where's the hard drive? How do you get the footage from the cameras?
They're in the cloud.
What the fuck is a cloud?
On the night of the incident, the footage reveals Terry leaving the bar and getting into a yellow sedan whose owner is unknown. At the same time, Terry's van is driven away by someone else, following the yellow car until it reaches the bus terminal where Boylan was killed. Without wasting time, Spencer heads to the crime scene to look for more clues. It confirms that the van used to ram Boylan belonged to Terry, but Terry himself was clearly riding in the yellow sedan. That leads Spencer to one conclusion: Boylan's death was carefully staged to frame Terry as the main suspect. There is more. At the scene, Spencer finds a toothpick, something he immediately associates with Driscoll, who is known for constantly chewing on them. Curious, Spencer confronts Driscoll, who has now taken Boylan's position. Driscoll insists that he was never at the crime scene at all. After leaving Driscoll's place, Spencer heads to a boxing gym to meet Hawk. Since Hawk got out of prison, Henry has pushed him toward becoming a boxer and asked Spencer to teach him the basics. After training, they stop by a cafe for breakfast. By chance, Spencer runs into his former girlfriend Davis, who wonders why he has not come to see her since his release. Spencer explains that he plans to move to Arizona and does not want to complicate things. As a quiet farewell, Davis gives him a small keepsake. As they leave the cafe, Hawk suddenly spots a yellow sedan passing by, the same one they have been searching for. Spencer immediately gives chase through a shortcut, but things go wrong when he is attacked by a dog. With the dog continuing to pursue him, Spencer loses track of the car and heads home dirty, torn up, and irritated. He takes his frustration out on Hawk for not helping, unaware that Hawk has already memorized the car's license plate.
89053QG.
Later that same day, they go to the transportation office to identify the owner of the yellow sedan. The search reveals that it belongs to a drug dealer named Charlie. Unsure of what connection Terry had with a man like this, Spencer, who knows exactly where Charlie is likely to be, urges Hawk to move quickly. Joined by Henry, the three of them begin watching Charlie from a bus stop across the street. Spencer explains that Charlie is not just a major drug dealer, but also a hired killer who has no hesitation when it comes to eliminating his targets. For reasons no one fully understands, the police have never been able to touch him. 10 years earlier, when Spencer was still on the police force, he was assigned to secure a gentrification project in Utah. Many residents were forced to leave because they could not afford the land buyouts. Among them was a young woman who openly refused to accept the plan. No one knew which global elites had hired Charlie, but 2 weeks later, Spencer discovered that the young woman had been murdered. Even though the case was handed over to the homicide unit, Spencer could not let it go. He wanted to be involved and pushed for a deeper investigation. It led nowhere. The case was quickly shut down by the authorities. When Spencer questioned the decision, Boylan dismissed it outright, saying the murder was less important than keeping the gentrification project on track. Unwilling to accept that answer, Spencer conducted his own investigation. He eventually obtained CCTV footage that clearly showed the young woman being killed. Boylan brushed it off as fake, claiming the video had been edited. Fed up with a broken system, Spencer confronted Boylan at his home, demanding the truth. Boylan refused to listen, and in a moment of frustration, Spencer beat him severely. That incident became the reason Spencer ended up in prison. Now, knowing that police officers were involved in Charlie's crimes, Spencer, Henry, and Hawk agree to expose the truth and clear Terry's name on their own terms. Their first move is simple and aggressive. They decide to send a message by damaging Charlie's prize car. The next day, Spencer begins tailing Charlie wherever he goes. At one point, he witnesses Charlie meeting with Macklin, the sergeant who replaced Terry, and handing him a bag filled with cash of unknown origin. By coincidence, Spencer also crosses paths with an FBI agent who has been secretly following Macklin due to suspicions that he is working with criminals. This moment reminds Spencer of an inmate who despises him. Knowing the man is a former drug dealer, Spencer visits the prison to extract more information. When the inmate refuses to talk, Spencer makes a video call to Hawk, who is currently involved with the inmate's wife. Left with no other choice, the man finally gives up a single clue, one word, Wonderland. Curious about its meaning, Spencer heads to the docks to meet an old informant and dig deeper. The informant explains that, if his suspicions are correct, Wonderland is a seaside casino built by global elites as a front for large-scale international drug trafficking. Dirty cops, corrupt politicians, and powerful elites work hand-in-hand with criminals to keep the operation running week after week. That explains why Boylan buried the young woman's case and stayed focused on gentrification. The investors planned to turn the area into a new casino branch. Armed with this information, Spencer decides to see Wonderland for himself. When he arrives, 2 guards quickly approach him, suspicious of his behavior. Thanks to his smooth talking, Spencer manages to walk away without drawing further attention. Before long, the day arrives for the joint funeral of Boylan and Terry. During the ceremony, Macklin grows uneasy and admits that Spencer has gone too far and is digging too deep. Driscoll, who is just as corrupt, confidently claims that Charlie's men have already been sent to take Spencer out. That threat quickly becomes real. While Spencer is out buying a burger, several suspicious figures begin following him. At the same time, Hawk is waiting in the car, listening to music, when Spencer is suddenly attacked without warning. Acting fast, Hawk rams the car into a nearby shop and manages to pull Spencer out of danger. Realizing they are now targets, Spencer decides to take Hawk and Henry to Davis's place for protection. At first, Davis refuses. She wants nothing more to do with Spencer. But after hearing everything that has happened, she finally agrees to let them stay. The focus then shifts to Tia, who returns home after her husband's funeral and finds her house completely ransacked. She calls Spencer immediately, convinced that Terry had hidden something he did not want anyone else to find. Her suspicion proves correct. One day before his death, Terry had left behind a recording and instructed Tia to hand it over to the FBI. With no one left to trust, Spencer asked to examine the recording himself. In the short audio, Terry, a straight cop and close friend of Boylan, explains his plan to help Boylan escape the criminal underworld by exposing everyone involved. In return, Terry would help Boylan secure a new position. Boylan eventually agrees and reveals the structure behind the operation. Wonderland is run by Charlie. Charlie works for Macklin, and both of them answer to Driscoll, the man who has kept the entire operation running smoothly. Before Terry could file his report, their meeting was exposed. The truth becomes clear. The person who killed both Terry and Boylan was Driscoll himself. Once everything is out in the open, Spencer confronts Driscoll face to face and tells him he has a recording that can expose all of his crimes. As someone who once considered Driscoll a close friend, Spencer urges him to turn himself in and let the FBI handle the rest. But the profits are too tempting to walk away from. Instead, Driscoll issues a warning, telling Spencer to watch his back. Unable to reason with him, Spencer returns to the FBI agent and hands over the audio evidence. Unfortunately, it is not enough.
This tape? It's not enough.
What are you talking about? Even without the tape.
The FBI explains that Wonderland's key players are protected by powerful figures, and any audio or video evidence could simply be dismissed as fabricated. Completely fed up, Spencer goes straight to Charlie and interrogates him without holding back.
Okay, Spence, go.
Tell me about the... Who's running the drum?
Refrigeration bin coming from New Hampshire.
After learning the schedule of the next shipment, Spencer and Hawk head to the location and steal the entire supply.
Excuse me, sir, are you okay?
They secure the goods inside Davis's garage, leaving only one final step, bringing Charlie and the evidence to Wonderland and handing everything over to the FBI. But another problem emerges. Henry suddenly disappears from the house. Driscoll calls and reveals that Henry is with him. If Spencer wants to see Henry alive, he must return the stolen goods to Wonderland as a trade before Driscoll changes his mind.
Do not touch him.
I have to kill Henry.
The story then shifts to Wonderland, where Driscoll and his loyal men are already in position, expecting Spencer to arrive. Instead, something unexpected happens. The person who shows up is Davis. Whatever plan Spencer has put together, it works perfectly.
Who's running point on this shit show?
Davis calmly leads Henry out of the area, and without warning, a massive container truck charges forward and slams straight into Driscoll and his crew. As chaos erupts from the crashing truck, Spencer and Hawk jump out and chase Driscoll as he flees into a warehouse. It is far from easy. Charlie's men are already waiting inside and move in to block their path. While Spencer keeps pushing forward after Driscoll, Hawk stays behind and takes on the attackers by himself. In the end, only Driscoll remains, standing face to face with Spencer. Wanting to make the moment count, Spencer throws away his gun and chooses to settle things hand to hand.
Were you gonna fucking shoot me?
The fight ends with Spencer finally bringing Driscoll down.
Let's go. I gave you a chance, brother. Fuck!
The entire Wonderland operation collapses, with its members tied up alongside undeniable piles of evidence. Once the FBI and honest police officers step in and deliver their verdicts, the truth finally comes out. Terry's name is cleared, and news of his restored reputation spreads across national media. As for Spencer and his friends, they are last seen gathered at a cafe, quietly celebrating their hard-earned victory. So the moral of the story is never trust a system that chews toothpicks, frames good people, and still thinks a yellow sedan is a subtle crime move.